everyone, Chris here to flip through a few new releases by New Zealand artists on vinyl. So starting off here with Of Pain, the latest release from WaihekeRecords. Of Pain are a Dunedin duo, and they're kind of doing the synth, cold wave kind of stuff, not a million miles away from another release earlier this year from Dunedin by the trio Elan Vital, which was on WaihekeRecords. So yeah, Coco Muse is a new label, as I say, that I'm really impressed with. They put out one of my favourite records of this year so far by, I'm not sure whether it's Mott or Motte, but a brilliant record. That was their first vinyl release. This is their second, and I'm really looking forward to their third upcoming release by LSD Fundraiser, another Dunedin group doing kind of drone noise stuff. The cassette version of that caused a bit of an uproar when versions of it were taped to walls around the city, and they had these kind of notes attached to them, part of the artwork, that ended up with bomb squads being called in and a whole lot of the city centre being closed down. So I'm looking forward to that coming through on vinyl before the end of the year. This one here, if you're offended easily, don't look too closely at the cover. In fact, when I bought this, the guy sent it to me and in the post and said don't open it at work. It's Open Tomb, Dead Weight. This is, I'm not really up with the kinds of all the various kind of metal genres, but this kind of doom, really slow, super slow riffs. So you've got 3 tracks on here. Scraping shit from beneath my nails taking up the whole of the second side. I really like this kind of music. Sometimes the growly metal vocals can kind of get in the way, but they're not overstated in here, and I like this kind of really slow, super heavy stuff, maybe more than the really fast genres of metal. And this as well, there's a couple of versions of this, and I picked up the, they call it, of course, the blood splatter version. They've got another record out, a split with another New Zealand band called Meth Drinker, with an equally interesting cover, which I'm thinking about picking up as well. Meth Drinker are a bit faster than Open Tomb. So anyway, something now kind of much more poppy. Clap Clap Riot, their new album, Dull Life. This has kind of been released on vinyl and just kind of sunk without trace. I think it's because they're signed to a major label. So Clap Clap Riot, they've been around for a few years. They kind of do catchy indie guitar stuff, and I don't think that Universal really know how to handle them. So they got this vinyl release. It's limited to 300 copies. It's really hard to find. It doesn't seem to be available in a lot of shops. There's been no fanfare about it. It's full of really great catchy songs, but I think it'll sink, and I think that's a real shame. Kane Strang, the new one from him, his second on vinyl. This is through Dead Oceans, and this again full of really great catchy songs. He's another Dunediner, and I'm not sure if this was recorded in Dunedin or not. There's a couple of versions of this about. Let's have a look. And this is the red vinyl version. He brings back a couple of songs from his first release. His first album went up online, and he's since deleted it from online, saying that he wasn't happy with the recording of it, or that it was a true representation of the songs. And there's one song in particular on here, My Smile Is Extinct, from that first record, which is just an absolute indie pop classic, I think, or maybe an unrealised indie pop classic. Really great kind of angsty song lyrics. Apparently he wrote it when he was about 17 and has now deleted it because he was embarrassed by it, but has now come back to it, kind of seeing the irony and humour of the level of angst of the lyrics about love lost. Yeah, so that's a great listen. This is the latest vinyl release from WaihekeRecords. They've been doing these super limited runs of things on vinyl, so they've done a few of these now, of New Zealand artists. WaihekeRecords now based in Berlin, but in New Zealand are running that label. And the first ones were, I think, limited to like something like 25 or 35 copies each. This is the latest album from Trillian, his first on vinyl. There's 50 copies of this. There's 40 copies on black vinyl, and 10 copies like this one on clear vinyl. You'll find it by looking at Bandcamp, WaihekeRecords, and this is the end result of a project which started a long time ago. So Trillian, which is Jody Lloyd, he's been around for donkey's years, and he was in the group Dark Tower. He was signed to a major, the Universal again I think, and he had this idea of doing a remix album of blues and hip hop, and he had access to the Universal archive and he was working through that. They went through a series of amalgamations and this project got canned. They said, nah, we don't see a future in it, and they canned it, and so he never went ahead with it. And it was a year later that Moby's Play came out, and apparently one of the record execs said, oh, take a listen to this could have been you, which completely disheartened him with the whole major label thing. Many years later he's realised that project, not the same tracks but the same idea. So this is kind of the remixing, stretching, twisting of kind of blues into modern electronic setting from Trillian. And finally, this is new from Reb Fountain. So Hopeful, Hopeless, 5-track EP of hers, recorded a few years ago, along with Sam Preble. And who else was on this? It was Dylan, I can't remember his last name. So this was recorded a long time ago. Sam Preble unfortunately committed suicide, and Reb Fountain kind of shelved these songs for a while, but now felt it was time to release them. These are kind of country folk songs. She's a great singer, great songwriter, really nice songs on here. I'm really impressed with this. There's another album of material from the same time period due to come out later on in the year. So yeah, I highly recommend that. So that's some of the new releases by New Zealand artists on vinyl that have caught my interest. Check out facebook.com/countingthebeat for updates on what I'm buying and listening to, for podcasts of my radio show, videos and so on. Cheers. Thanks very much.